Greetings, ladies and gentle readers! I just finished House Wolf the Grand Game, Book 4, a dark fantasy lit RPG by Tom Elliott. Now, because it is Book 4, you can kind of guess my opinion on the matter. I actually like it. This is a lit RPG adventure. Now, I'm not sure if it's actually going for adventure or if it's going for more of like an epic feel because there's like houses, they're not really gods, they're powers. And yeah, there's like a lot of stuff going on. There's like political intrigue, sort of, that we're kind of starting to see glimpses of. So maybe it's a lit RPG epic fantasy novel. Now, this one in particular only clocks in at 422 pages, which is a little strange because the last one was like, I think the last two of them were like in the 700s, I want to say. Confirmed, 727 was the last one in the old book threes. So, really quickly, the grand game, what is it in a nutshell? Trying to avoid spoilers. So, essentially, it is a lit RPG where the character gets, whisked away to another place. Essentially I don't know, universe of dungeons and leveling and stuff. Now, book one is a little hazy. I don't think the main character remembered signing into this at first, and it being a little bit of a trap, if I'm remembering it right, for those participating in the game. Now, the game aspect of it, don't let that throw you off. That's like in the very beginning of like the first book, but they kind of break out of it. And it's not just like Hunger Games for 4 books. It's nothing like that. It starts off gamey, and then we break off and we get to see the universe at large as the author kind of pulls back and starts showing you a little bit more of the world or in the universe that he's creating. Then he pulls back, shows you a bit more, pulls back, shows you a little bit more. So it starts off with like one person and their intrigue in this game. They pull back, they get hints of some other factions that might exist in the world. You pull back again, now you have like some other deities or powers as they're called here that are also got like their finger in the pot, and then you pull back and then there's like an older set that's even like older than them, and there's like intrigue there. So it's kind of interesting how you kind of slowly get this wider view of the world that Tom Elliott is creating here, and I think that's fantastic. What I also really like about this, and I think a lot of lit RPGs do it really, really wrong, is you are obviously having a character that is going to be getting stronger. Good old Michael, as we can see here, is his name. But he does get stronger. He does get stronger fighting things. However, it's not just about character going off somewhere and grinding, grinding, grinding. I think a few lit RPGs that are actually even popular ones kind of spring to mind they kind of fall into that sort of mistake, at least in my opinion, where they just go and throw them off into the woods and they are there just randomly beating up monsters you don't care about and getting like stat upgrades you don't care about, and nothing's really contextualized. What does it mean that this person gets this instead of that? What does it mean that this person gets this stat increase instead of this one? Like you have nothing to compare it to, so it's just kind of like meaningless gobbledygook that no one really cares about. But here, I think Tom Elliott does a really good job of giving the author a reason to be or not the author, the main character, a reason to be where they are in fighting, and like discovering something unique about that. Like, oh, we're over here. Hey, there are these wolves. These wolves, you can tell in literally the title, House Wolf, that's going to be an important part of the story. And then you still want the character to get stronger, but you need a character to get stronger for a reason and not just out of boredom or, because I'm the main character. I know this is going to be good. That a lot of subpar authors kind of fall in the habit of. Instead, it's like, oh no, we met these people who are being pressured by these other people, so we have to like kind of go investigate that. Or someone's trying to have us in a pawn in a larger game that is afoot. So we have to go and investigate that. And as we do that, we're running into creatures that we sometimes can and can't kill, and we have to, balance that out as well. In this book in particular, we have some cool little new little world building. The main character is kind of getting on with the goals that he's been assigned from like way earlier in earlier novels. And it's nice to see this kind of coming together. He's kind of looking after the things that he has to look after. We're getting a little bit of more of a peek behind the curtain of some of the powers that be and what happened in the past where the old gods or powers, whatever, why and how they disappeared and how that's affecting modern society and what his role is going to be in all of this. It just feels like it's really coming together nicely, and I can't recommend it enough. It's a very solid lit RPG to get into if it is something that you are in fact wanting to try out. If you want to try lit RPG, this is pretty good because there's some different layers in it. Now, it is on the short side, and I kind of want to avoid the spoilers because, again, it's a little bit on the short side, and there's just a lot that I don't want to completely ruin the book for. What I will say in terms of spoilers, though, is he's interacting with people more, which I like. There's a person that we saw in previous novels that's making a return, and we're learning more about them and their past, which is good. We got character development, something a lot of lit RPGs tend to avoid in the old, oh, I'm just gonna make my character grind and be OP, and not really much character development. Tom's dodging that bullet nicely. We get the sense that the main character isn't in complete control of everything, that he's kind of like hanging on by his fingernails, trying not to fall off the ride that he's on, which gives a bit of suspense to what we're reading, which again is fantastic. It is by no means the best fantasy novel in the history of ever, but maybe it's just lit RPG has a low bar, but this is very, very good. Definitely top S tier in the lit RPG genre. If you haven't checked out this book and you are at all curious about the genre, you really can't go wrong getting into this as maybe one of your first forays into this particular genre of fantasy. Book 5 sadly looks like it won't be out until September, but that's not bad because that means we're getting 2 books in 1 year. I'm all down for that. I have a hunch that book 5 things will really start popping off as the main character is able to hide less and less the nature of his character and how everyone's gonna suddenly want to kinda sorta kill him because of it. All in all, I'm looking forward. I recommend this. Get into the grand game from Tom Elliott if you haven't already done so. And yeah, think you're gonna enjoy it. As of the time of recording this video, it currently has 0 1-star reviews, which is pretty good given that it's got 1,100 reviews right now. Looks like it does have a 1% 2, but that's to be expected, and a 4% 3, again, to be expected. Overall, enjoyed it. Did you? Feel free to let me know down below why you did or not. And I will definitely be back in September